This presentation shows what changes drivers are now experiencing using ELDs. More details are provided on the AOBRD to ELD Transition website. The ELD mandate requires that the driver's manual be available in cab, but it does not have to be a printed document. If an inspection officer asks to see the driver's ELD's manual, navigate to the home screen, tap the Driver Training button, and open the Hours of Service module to show the driver's manual for this ELD. You must also have the ELD driver card and malfunction sheet, which is located in the back of the Prime Paper Log book. You'll have to log in to the driver's login, click on Duty, and then OK. You'll be prompted to change your duty status, to certify your logs, and to enter any missing load or carrier information. It is required to always have an active driver. If you're running solo, you'll become the active driver by default. Enter your driver ID, your password, and then click Active, then click OK. The performance monitoring pop-up may appear after login. It will ask if unassigned accumulated engine hours should be credited to you. This does not affect your hours of service, but does increment the performance monitoring drive time. Select No when prompted to credit unassigned driver time. These are shop engine hours. If a driver doesn't log in and moves the vehicle, unassigned vehicle activity accumulates on an ELD, and the next driver to log in is prompted to accept it. If you see an alert that looks like this, closely review the proposed changes and accept or reject them as appropriate. If after 8 days no driver logs in the ELD to accept or reject it, the back office manually reassigns that drive time to a driver, and you may see a carrier edit alert. Carefully review the unassigned vehicle activity. Accept if the driving belongs to you, or reject if it does not. Selectable duty status options include off-duty, sleeper berth, and on-duty. Yard move is located under Special Conditions for on-duty. Personal conveyance is located under Special Conditions for off-duty. Enter a remark for yard move, and PC if the OK option is grayed out. Though the change of duty status screen looks different, it functions the same way. Unless you're enabled for special conditions, like personal conveyance or yard move, you won't see that option listed. For duty statuses that require comments, the OK button is grayed out until you provide at least one remark. The beginning of a trip driving triggers at 5 miles per hour, period. There's no distance or time parameters. This could affect rest breaks. If you are required to move the truck prior to completing your break, you must restart your break and annotate your log to indicate why the break was interrupted. Always think before moving the truck. Ensure your brakes are completed in full before driving. AOBRDs begin their trip when you meet either the beginning of a trip speed or distance threshold. These thresholds prevented a minor movement, such as a movement within a yard, from triggering the start of a trip. Under the ELD mandate, all vehicle movement is recorded and must be assigned to a driver. The beginning of a trip is triggered when the vehicle speed is equal to or greater than 5 miles per hour, and there is no distance trigger. When the wheels turn, you are bumped into driving status, possibly affecting rest breaks. If you are required to move during a rest break, you must restart your brake and annotate your log to indicate why the brake was interrupted. Your end of trip triggers after 5 minutes of no movement. You'll be prompted to switch to on duty. If you select yes, you'll be put into on duty at the time the wheels stopped. If you select no, you will continue logging your drive. If you take no action for 60 seconds, your duty status will automatically switch to on duty when the wheels stopped. The end of trip threshold is triggered after 5 minutes of no movement. Then you are presented with a pop-up asking vehicle stop for 5 minutes, switch to on duty. If you respond yes, you are put into on duty, and the activity is recorded as the time when the wheels stop moving. If you respond no, you'll remain in drive. If you don't respond, after 1 additional minute, you're transitioned to on duty, and the activity time is reported when the wheels stopped moving 6 minutes ago. All times record to the second, and violations activate on the second. With ELDs, there is no minimum duty status. The drive duty status begins the second the wheels move. All drive time is recorded to the second, and if there are any violations, they are triggered the second you're in violation. That means that if you have to move your vehicle during a break and the break is interrupted, you must restart your break and annotate your logs to indicate why. For a yard move, an on-duty status that may be used for movements less than 20 miles per hour on customer property. Your ignition must be on to select Yard Move. Yard Move will interrupt a break. If your company allows you to record drive time that takes place in a private yard without public access as Yard Move, the ELD records it without mileage or time limit. You manually select this duty status and end the duty status by selecting another duty status, shutting off the in-cab unit, or when the 20 miles per hour speed threshold is met. You'll see this yard move time on the on-duty line and does not add drive time since it's on-duty status. Be aware that yard move is selectable only when the ignition is on. Personal conveyance is an off-duty status that may be used for small personal movements within the vicinity. Prime has a 1-hour limit on personal conveyance. However, after 1 hour of use, you will not be forced to drive. You'll be alerted that you have exceeded the limit, and you will be prompted to select End or Continue. If your PC use is incorrect, select End and call your log advisor for assistance. PC misuse will result in PC loss. If you use personal conveyance and stop, your status will switch to off-duty. If you turn off your ignition, you'll be prompted when you turn your ignition back on to either end or continue using PC. To end PC status, you'll need to stop and manually switch your duty status. Remember to certify your logs daily by selecting Agree under the Certified tab. If you have edits to make, select Not Ready, scroll to the day the duty status began, make the change, leave a clear reason for the change, and hit Agree. You're prompted to certify logs upon login and log out, and certification is done per 24-hour periods, not all uncertified logs at once. If you don't certify a day or two, you're prompted at login and log out to certify all prior logs. A co-driver must always enter their password to check or edit their logs as a security measure. As an additional security measure, the ELD mandate requires a password challenge when a co-driver attempts to see or modify logs, and as always, if you cannot log in, contact your fleet administrator. Drivers and in-house associates are permitted to make edits to certified logs. Drivers and in-house associates may edit on-duty, off-duty, and sleeper berth. In-house associates' edits to drive are limited. Driving may be reassigned, but it cannot be shortened or changed to another duty status. Annotate your logs to explain the cause of an event, such as negative driving, to use PC to the next available location for safe parking, etc. You'll also annotate your logs when you make an edit. Always leave clear annotations. False annotations could result in a ticket. If you receive an in-house edit, carefully review, then confirm or reject the changes. These edits will show as pending until you take action. If you reject an in-house edit, you must provide a reason for the rejection. There must be a clear reason, as it will affect your logs of record. You'll be promoted at first login, first duty status change and at log out to enter load information. Remember to make updates when you pick up or drop a trailer and if your delivery dates change. The day log header provides detailed information about the driver and the co-driver. The day log driver and inspector modes are used during a roadside inspection. Select the Hours of Service button, select the day log tab, and tap Inspector. Tap Driver to switch back. The day log sending logs during inspection is used during a roadside inspection. Select the Hours of Service button, select the day log tab, and tap ERODS. The officer will tell you which transfer method to select, and you'll enter the officer's identifying information in the comment. Close the keyboard and send. Here are some EROD examples. Please take note of the severity weights on CSA, which are key items. ELD, no record of duty status, ELD required. No record of duty status when one is required, ELD not required. Not using the appropriate method to record hours of service. The ELD's display screen cannot be viewed outside of the commercial motor vehicle. Operating with a device that is not registered with the FMCSA. Driver failed to assume or decline unassigned driving time. Failing to note malfunction that requires use of paper logs. Failing to provide supporting documents in the driver's possession upon request. There are new sensor and malfunction alerts. For power, weak vehicle battery, cold cranking, problems with cables. For engine synchronization, speed sensor failure, problems with the ECM, and cable issues. Timing, ELD is more than 10 minutes off UTC time. Position, ELD cannot get an accurate GPS position automatically. Date recording, missing data in ELD events or the ELD is running out of memory. Data transfer, problems or failures transferring logs to enforcement. Unidentified driving. Over the past 7 days, there are drive time segments that are 30 minutes long or greater that aren't assigned to a driver ID. Sensor failure and malfunction alerts. If you experience any QC issues or notice sensor failure or malfunction alerts, you are required by the FMCSA to notify the log department within 24 hours and to have the unit repaired within 8 days. Failure to have the unit repaired in 8 days will require Prime to send a written request for an extension to the FMCSA. And you'll be able to practice. There's a sample ELD unit which is available in the driver lounge. Feel free to practice logging in and out, editing logs, providing carrier and load information, responding to carrier edits, and selecting inspector modes, plus more.